So, we have next? Dylan? All right, y'all welcome Dylan to the stage.
Yes, Dylan, yes.
You start right
My
now.
original part is 11 minutes.
Oh, God. We're taking so fast.
A lot of stuff in there.
I
Ready?
feel like I need someone to hold my hand.
We're all here holding your hand. Ready?
Okay. So third grade, big milestone in someone's life. You learn how to use a dictionary. Some may develop their first schoolyard crush. And additionally, you may move from having one class to two. And so, unfortunately, it wasn't the boy next to me in class that was making me nervous. It was the fact that I had to move from one class to another. And that brought me a lot of anxiety. And so I found myself in the bathroom as a 9-year-old with acid reflux. And my parents didn't know what was wrong with me. They couldn't figure out why I was so sick during the day. And that's probably the first memory I have feeling the way that I do. So fast forward to middle school. I got through it by the skin of my teeth, as I'm sure we all did. Because they're mean. It's not fun. All you want to do is stay home. And so constantly I just felt judged, which I'm sure we all did. And so fast forwarding to high school, I felt a lot better because I came to a small school where I knew a lot of people from middle school, and my brother was a senior at the time, so I had that support system. And so that was a little easier in terms of social anxiety, but the anxiety from our school work started piling up, and so then it got worse and worse. I found myself sleeping very little, staying up into the night. And so I remember it very well. It was like a really abnormally hot September morning. It was really sticky and humid outside like it gets in the fall when it's hot. And I was in second period. That night I had probably gotten 4 hours of sleep. I had a math test coming up, which is my least favorite subject, as you all know. And I just knew I was going to fail, and so I had that anxiety in the back of my mind, and I was in Spanish class. And I was going to use lunch to study, so I was just thinking about my day. And my stomach started hurting. Like, it was a stomach ache that I had never felt before, and I didn't know how to handle it. Like, it wasn't like a hunger stomach ache. It's not like I'd eaten something bad. And so I put my head down to try to get rid of it. So in the back of my mind, all I was playing was like, I need to do this math test. I'm either going to fail it, I'm going to study during lunch with Aaron, like I always did sophomore year, and pass it. So I put my stomach down, I put my head down, and just kind of took deep breaths. But with each moment, my head started spinning. But the only thing in the back of my mind was my math test. And so I heard backpack shuffling and feet shuffling, and that was signifying lunch was starting. So I got up, went to the bathroom, splashing water on my face, which was a bad mistake because I broke out in cold sweats. So my teeth were chattering, but I was sweating profusely. And so I walk out, still trying to calm myself down because I still need to take this math test. And I saw Mr. Eldridge, my Spanish teacher, walking down the hallway, and his eyes just were wide. And in my memory, like, this is where things start slowing down. It's hard to distinguish what happens between like different stages. But I just remember some friend, Mr. Eldridge, grabbing me and taking me to the office. And I remember laying down. Mr. Greiner, who had never said anything to me in his life, came and kneeled next to me and was like, do you need anything? Do you need some Sprite? Like, he thought that was magically going to cure me of whatever was happening. And so I just laid down and finally let my eyes shut and just kind of accepted the fact that I wasn't going to be taking my math test that day. And that's the weirdest thing about anxiety is about, like, for me, it's the anxiety of disappointing people and letting other people down. And so I was thinking about my math test and failing it and getting a bad grade and putting my health on the back burner. And that was like the scariest thing for me. And so I remember going home, taking a shower, getting in bed. And I thought I was like sick. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I'd never experienced this before. And I laid down and took a nap and everything was fine. Like nothing had happened. It was no big deal. And that was the most frustrating thing for me because I was confused. I wanted a sickness. I wanted to go to the doctor and then it'd be over. But from that point on, I just kind of ignored it, got up, went to my same routine. And then I remember this past summer, after a conversation with my mom about the many countless things that people don't find to be upsetting, that upset me, I was talking to her about something, and we were on the way to go visit my uncle because he was in hospice dying of liver failure. And she was talking to me of how he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and he was taking medication for it, and how my great-grandmother used to write notes to my grandfather about shock therapy, which back in the day with how they treated mental disorders, I guess. They just put shocks all around their body because they hadn't done research about it. And I grew, like, my throat grew tight because I didn't want to have that stigma. Like, I didn't want to think about the possibility of me inheriting that. It was very scary, but as I went home and researched it, it made a lot of sense. As you can tell, I'm very hypersensitive. I cry at everything, and it's caused a lot of problems for me. Trying to relate it to people and trying to explain how it feels, and like when I have conversations with people, I can't do it without crying, because Wilson know when we have serious conversations, I can't do it without crying. And it makes me feel hopeless and weak, that I've come to accept the fact. It's brought me a lot of understanding in terms of like emotional response. It's weird for me and my brother because he's the complete exact opposite. He only cries when, like, the last time I saw him cry is my dog dying. Like, he doesn't cry. And so I'm currently undiagnosed. I haven't gone to a doctor, but I keep telling myself, regardless of what a man in a white coat says, I'm responsible for finding ways to cope with that. And the biggest thing that's helped me is my support system. My family, my friends, and I think that's the most important thing, whether you have a mental disorder or not. Having a strong support system is important, and I've found code words to tell my family, you know, today's a cloudy day. That's what I tell them. That's what I call them when I wake up and I just want to crawl into bed and sleep for the day. And I think that's the most important thing in life, is to have a support system to laugh, or to cry with on the cloudy days and laugh through the good. And that's what's important to me.